Asite offers what we believe is a unique platform. We're new in the U.S., but we might be the new kid on the block, but we believe that you're going to see something that will be a game changer for you. We quite simply believe we have the best technology out there for managing projects, construction, documents, and so on. What really distinguishes us is that we have an ironclad audit trail that becomes a game changer for running a project. And that project can be scalable anywhere from 1 to 2 people up to 2,000 or 3,000 people, if not more. In the UK, where we originated, we have led the industry for the use of BIM and for the use of our services. And again, what we do quickly pinpoints all assignments for the project participants. No stone, if you will, is left unturned. Everyone knows what their assignments are and when they're due. And so we turn what usually is a kind of babble into a very clearly defined set of responsibilities. So I think you're going to see something quite unique today, and it extends from simple documents and communications into the far reaches of building information modeling and beyond. So without further ado, I want to turn this over to Chris Peters, our Professional Services Director, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks very much, Paul. Many thanks all for joining me. I'm Chris Peters, Professional Services Director. So what is Asite? We are a fully web-based solution, providing solutions across the numerous sectors. So you can see from AEC across the facilities management, infrastructure, government, and financial services. What we simply do is enable users to share information in a secure environment, commonly known as the common data environment. Asite was formed back in 2001 on the back of Sir John Egan's white paper, Rethinking Construction. This was all around streamlining processes within an organisation and with supply chains. As you can see at the moment, Asite is actually being used by over 200,000 users, delivering bottom line gains of up to 2% on construction projects. So significant savings can be made. I have a video here that we will share with you after this webinar. Hopefully it'll be of much interest to you all. So just a look at some of our customers. This is just a selection or cross range of some of our customers. You can see hopefully there's some names there that are familiar to you. Across the top we have some frameworks in place. Most of these 5-year frameworks. These are with government organisations and with private sector, basically delivering one or many of our solution sets. So as Paul mentioned, we have collaborative BIM, document management, project management, and a whole host of applications. So these customers are actually taking up some of these or all of these modules. So just a breakdown on some of our projects, just to give you an idea and flavour of the capacity and scale of some of these projects that are actually being hosted on Asite. First one here is Crossrail, which is Europe's largest construction project, a construction value of £19 billion, many stations being developed and new tracks being laid across the capital of London. And they're actually using Asite to host all of their documentation and to collaborate and share information. Another sector within London is Transport for London, another government-led organisation. They're actually using Asite for all of their London Underground stations upgrade, using us for contract change management and for document management capabilities. Another government organisation, which I'm not quite sure the US equivalent, one of the other guys would be able to assist in this, really managing flood risk projects, again using Asite for document management capabilities, contract change management, and tracking all of their professional services, fee notes, etc. Replacing their extranet also, so they're using Asite as a knowledge management system as well to improve best practice. It's not just UK based, as mentioned previously, we are a global organisation with projects across the globe. We have Bombardier, which is in Australia. improving their rolling stock in the Queensland organisation, so not just for the rolling stock, but also the depots, again using Asite across for document management, project management, and a whole host of other solutions. Again, in Australia, we're a large infrastructure program. Novorail is Alliance of Transport for New South Wales, so delivering a whole host of track, signalling, and other categories such as junctions and overhead wiring. Again, sticking with rail, but moving northwards of Australia, Hong Kong and mainland China, mass transit railway. Again, Asite was appointed for this. It's a 8-year scheme with many routes delivered out of terminal back in Hong Kong, and it's enabling tracks to be delivered into new territories within Hong Kong and China. Moving back home for me personally anyhow, in the UK, is Network Rail. Again, it's the government organisation for managing all of the track across the UK. We've actually been appointed on many schemes, including the G&G Alliance, which is improvement works on the East Coast Main Line throughout of England. Again, a multi-million-pound contract using Asite for project management and document management capabilities. Well, not just infrastructure and rail, but it's energy and utilities. So a new project that we've just been appointed on is Hinkley Point C, which is a new nuclear power station that's going to be built, the first in many years. That's actually going to be nuclear technology. But as well as using Asite for document management, we're also going to be using Asite for bid management. Obviously, specialist contractors will be used on this scheme, so heavy pre-qualification of that supply chain and bid management within that organisation as well. Just one more on utilities. UK Power Networks appointed us very recently. So this is actually the national grid for the UK, supplying energy across the southeast and east of England, and as we put there, making sure lights stay on and the power is maintained across the UK. So all of these projects are reliant on successful communication. What you see here is what's normally in place before Asite come on to any scheme. Basically, any communications via organisations is in a haphazard way. We actually call this a chaos diagram. So what it's doing is you're actually producing silos of data at each local location. So, you know, there's no audited trail around there, and there's no single version of the truth. So with multiple silos of data, you're introducing risk into your projects because users and disciplines aren't actually working, or potentially not working, to the most current version. So simply what we do is we sit in the middle and producing one single source of the truth, breaking down all those silos of data that normally exist at each discipline, sitting in the middle in a secure environment, enabling people to share the information, working to the most current version across the whole life cycle of an asset. So all the way from pre-construction through to design, construction, closeout, and finally on to handover and facilities management. So Asite has a solution for each one of these steps in the life cycle of your project. So what does that mean to the client? There's 3 primary factors: reduces time, reduction in costs, and eliminating the risk. As I mentioned, people working to the most current version, etc., is eliminating all this. Any risk, there's invariably cost implications, but all of this is streamlining your process and saving time. So focusing primarily on construction management, you'll see now some screenshots around Asite and the applications that we can provide for your construction management solution. When you first come into Asite, you're introduced to a graphical dashboard. So this actually provides information for your projects at the click of a button, and it's all relevant to you. So we have widgets with drill down capability. So you have the ability to be able to drill down from your new files published straight into your folders to see that information. You'll see that you can actually see any recent forms that have been raised, and what we mean by forms could be any application. So it could be anything from a request for information to a non-conformance report to a punch list. You'll see we've also got model summary on there, so where Paul mentioned about our collaborative Bing capabilities, we can look at information around our models, but just by through our graphical dashboard, and again, we can drill down into that information. We can set favorite folders, so if you're working on multiple projects, but you're always going to a consistent location, you have the ability to be able to drill down straight across into your common working areas. Again, on the left-hand side, you can see any incomplete actions, so where people are collaborating with you, bringing in information to you and saying, I want you to come and look at this information. Again, you can drill straight across from there into any of your incomplete actions. All of this is backed up us managing big data. We can do a federated search across all of your projects, so you don't have to be in a specific project. You have the capability to search across all of your project portfolio. So just touching on the point about the collaborative environment and where it's a single source of information, this enables you to share information online. You're able to collaborate on design, construction drawings. It doesn't just have to be drawings. This could be any project information. So we enable different disciplines, different organizations, the client, the contractor, the subcontractor, all to be able to openly collaborate, but also you've got the capability to have secure environments, so certain collaboration can go on between certain parties. And all of this is tracked in a comprehensive audit trail in what we call our common data environment. So a lot of processes are backed up. We've worked with many organizations in the US, and we can facilitate the whole submittal process. And we also realize there are different processes around submittals. So if you've got sequential approvals for your submittals, we can facilitate that. And we've actually used this or doing that in many of our construction managers already. You've got the capability to view online documents. So without even having the software installed locally, you can actually view the documents online, and it supports over 300 different file types. You'll notice here we talk about online markup and collaboration. So as well as being able to view those documents, you can actually physically redline your documents online, saving print costs, saving time for delivering all of that information, scanning it back into any FTP site, etc. As well as all of the online markup collaboration, we can actually provide a stamp facility. So where you have the traditional way of working, where you have documents that you would print off and stamp, you can actually do this via the online viewer. Taking it a step further, other areas, other modules and other solutions that we have within your construction management environment. We have company directory, so you can actually tag your suppliers with certain attributes. You can actually track whether they're, if you want to blacklist them, if they're not performing, you can actually pre-qualify all of your company directory. You can track these with cost codes to enable you to actually report on costing, dependent on what cost codes that these suppliers can actually provide. This is all hosted centrally, so you can have this as a company-wide directory, so you can tag all of these suppliers with configurable attributes, with certain cost codes, but because it's all centrally managed, you could then drill down into your project directory. So where you've got your approved suppliers, you can then bring them locally into your project workspace, again with all the relevant cost codes and attributes relevant to your project. And against those, you can also enable the suppliers to include their insurance certificates, any other certification, health and safety certificates, and any other documentation you require against that supplier. Taking that into the next environment, you can actually then report across your whole project. So where we've assigned cost codes to suppliers, you can track all the costs, all of the performance of your suppliers within our project portfolio manager. And you can see here, you can actually track it at each stage. So we have a red, amber, green, so RAG statuses. So you can see at each stage of the project if we're actually on time and within budget. So obviously green means we're on time and in budget. Orange means there's different other elements in there, so some's on time, some of it's not, and red means you're over time. If I just drill down into that, you can see within each of those stages we have individual activities where you're actually tracking it at individual activity stage for all of these to see if you're on time, within budget, etc. So taking that one step further where we're drilling in, you can manage all of your portfolio risks, so you can actually track against, well, I've mentioned about if you're on time, so you actually have milestones, but also you can track around your budgets and how your budget is with current expenditure and future expenditure as well. So your anticipated costs can all be managed within here. Also, against all of our suppliers and within the project portfolio management tool, we can manage our health and safety. So you're tracking how your suppliers are performing and how we can improve those suppliers. So within the project portfolio manager, as well as all the tracking of costs and if they're on time, also tracking all of the health and safety implications within that one suite. And as I mentioned, the costing, although we're at a high level, we can drill down into a cost summary, matching your expenditure versus your baseline budget, and tracking the funds for your project needs. So if you need to request any funding, you can actually be tracking that against all of those cost summaries. Again, I mentioned on the Hinkley point, we have full tender management or bid management. So we can actually take that into a secure environment. So before you do any of your project supply chain and all those elements, you need to get your supply chain on board. So we can actually facilitate the bid management process. So from the request for proposal, we can actually submit invitations to bid to multiple suppliers. Now these forms can actually go out to suppliers, and even without having any Asite experience, those forms can be embedded into an email. So it's actually giving that information direct to those suppliers that can then come in directly and respond to the invitation to bid. So they don't need to navigate around, it's taking them directly into that information. Obviously, parts of the bid process, any addendums to the bid can be raised, and if suppliers have any requests for information or if they have any queries, all of that can be facilitated through the bid manager. Other applications that we've developed for construction management, meeting minutes. It's very simple. You can track all your meeting minutes, and if you have actions for individuals that weren't even part of the meeting minutes, you can actually document them within the meeting minute module, and this will assign actions. Again, they can access those through the dashboard. They can actually say when they've completed those actions, and it will actually update the meeting minutes. So those people that have assigned the actions don't need access to the meeting minute module. They just get a list of actions. So you can actually, if you've got commercially sensitive information that you don't want to share, you can just be assigning actions to any user, which can then complete the actions, and it will automatically update the meeting minutes. Simple processes such as RFIs, NCRs, any of these can be tailored to how you want to work. So we have a library of modules and offerings, but if you wanted to brand it your own way, so you'll see we've got Asite logos within our request for information. Very simply, these can be branded, and if you want any other additional information on your forms, they can be added. So if you've got radio buttons, drop-downs, all of this can be applied. Very simply, if you're raising an RFI, there's a process that the way you work can all be mapped into the system. You've got the ability to associate and attach documents to your RFIs or any form base. So again, instead of a person having to go and search for that information to your RFIs, it's all held centrally to that one request for information or NCR or any form-based process. I've mentioned a few modules and ways of collaborating. Any data you capture within the Adoddle platform can be reported upon, and it can be reported in any format, whether that's Excel, PDF, or any other format that you wish. And it could be in any graphical representation also. So it could be bar charts, could be pie charts, could be graphs, tabular format as well. And it's all by a click of a button. So just by clicking on a button can produce a report, or taking it one step further, we can actually schedule reports to be delivered via email or to a folder within Asite. So that could be scheduled on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And again, if it's via email, users or management don't need to come into Asite to receive that information. It's actually being delivered to them. So, I've talked about the web and how people can access Adoddle, and the applications. But what if you're out on the field? We've actually developed an application called Adoddle Field. As you can see, it's on an iPad, and it's got a full synchronization between the iPad and the web application. So all of the files and documents that you've got residing in the web application are managed or can be managed on your iPad also. And the viewing capabilities are also replicated. So again, you can view over 300 different file types in the 2D environment, but also you can view your 3D model files. So you've got the capability to be able to mark up again, put your stamps on here, and save any comments against those views. From there, you can actually put them into any workflow also. So where I've mentioned RFIs, NCRs, etc. All of these can be driven or produced straight from your iPad and taken through the web application. So we've got some examples at the bottom there. Punch lists, RFIs, NCRs, any of the form processes can be commenced from your iPad. Taking the mobility one step further, any smartphone can actually access the Asite platform. We've improved the graphical display, so what we call fat finger friendly. So our contractor friends that are out there, they can actually access the information via their smartphone. They can view the documents online and start any process from here. So very simply, if you've got, let me take the RFI example. If you're out on site, you can view the RFI. You can actually respond back via your smartphone. And again, that could be any process. So again, punch list is a favorite. You can actually take a photo on your smartphone and initiate the punch list from site.